back now. Before independence, Nigeria was popular for the production of large quantities of coal for energy generation, railways and transport, as also the export of columbine, tin, lead and also zinc was also common. However, the discovery and emphasis of crude oil production in the 1970s led to a significant decline in the development of the solid mineral mining industry. The nationalization policies of also the 1970s and 1980s further worsened the state of solid minerals in Nigeria. Now there is also been a call for the urgent need to diversify Nigeria's economy away from oil as the major source of government revenue and also foreign exchange. Also, we have which the federal government of Nigeria is improving the industry's regulatory framework to also encourage private partnership. Now, joining me on the news tonight to discuss diversification of Nigeria's economy and also if the boosting of the nation's extractive sector will help is the executive director of the African Center for Leadership and Strategic Development, Mr. Monday Osase. Thank you for joining us in the news this evening. Now, first and foremost, looking at the diversification in Nigeria, what way do you suggest is the concentration of this?
Okay, I think before then, I know you have laid the basis in terms of trying to go historical about it. But yes. I think that the need for diversification of the Nigerian economy cannot be overemphasized. Okay. You know, Nigeria has been described as a mono-product economy. And for a mono-product economy, if you are not careful, yes, especially when you toy with the issues of diversification, you might be shocked by the vagaries of the market. You know, for instance, if in Nigeria, what our mainstay is oil. And so oil, the price of oil is not determined locally, it's determined internationally. So if there is an issue in the international markets, the way and manner is going to affect the Nigerian economy will be very problematic. And that is why there's a renewed call for diversification. Is it possible? Because God has endowed us with a lot of resources. Okay. So instead of zeroing in on only oil, there is need to look elsewhere. And one basic area that we need to look at is the solid mineral sector. Unfortunately, it has remained very underdeveloped in Nigeria. And come to think of it, Nigeria went into recession in 2016 yes, because of the challenges resulting from pipeline vandalization alone. Pipeline vandalization and then issues around international price of oil. So if that continues to happen, it means that our mainstay becomes shaky. So the need for diversification in essence cannot be overemphasized. And I think the earlier we take it very seriously, the better it will be for Nigeria.
Okay, but now how sustainable can the this extractive sector be for development of this country's economy?
My brother, you need to know the rich endowment that we have in this country. There is no one state without one mineral resources.
Definitely. And
it is on record that Nigeria has 44 commercially viable minerals. And so if Nigeria is able to develop it further, it will even replace oil. The price, whatever we are getting from oil will be a child's play compared to what we are going to get from solid minerals. And incidentally, when President Muhammad Buhari came into power in 2015, one thing that he promised Nigeria was to reform the extractive sector. Okay. And he didn't just stop there. He went ahead to they put together what we call the mining roadmap. It's a roadmap meant to really take the issue of diversification seriously. And we understand from the perspective of citizens that when government makes pronouncement, the need for citizens to also engage it is critical. Because if you don't engage it, the possibility for relapse is there.
Sure.
So what we did at our level was to begin a conceptualization on how to strengthen civic engagement and advocacy for effective natural resource governance. What that means is that there is need for a nuanced citizens' mobilization to participate in the governance of the extractive. And good thing, we have done what we have done to pave way for the remobilization is to build the capacity of artisanal miners, because there is preponderance of artisanal miners across the whole place. So if you do not build their capacity and then use the opportunity of the capacity building to school them about the need for formalization with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, you will not get all the desired benefits that is supposed to spread to everybody. Yeah, so formalization is critical. So what it means is that for all of these artisanal miners, it is for them to get registered with the ministry. So it is the responsibility of the ministry now to go popularize this thing, just the way the civil society organizations are going to popularize. They need to further, support civil society to popularize this so that everybody can contribute to the national coffers. Mind you, I told you that the mineral endowment in this country is huge. So if all of us can join hands together to encourage these people, because government has done its part by making that pronouncement. So we need to follow it with action. And one of the actions is to mobilize citizens to participate in this so that more revenue can come to government.
And in light of that, now following my next question, it's more or less like looking at just as Nigerian state depends or is dependent on international oil companies now, coming to explore and exploit and drill, also to produce its own oil. Now, it won't be far from the truth that the same will also happen to our solid minerals. Or what do you think? What do you think about this? It's not going to be like that exactly if government shows the needed political will in this area. Oh. And one of the ways that government can display that will is to ensure the full implementation of the Mineral Mining Act 2007. Right. The regulation is there, no doubt, but then we need full implementation of this, and to ensure that even in the governance of the extractive, nobody is left behind. Okay. Because if you leave any group of people behind, it will make it problematic. And why the need not to also leave people behind has become imperative following the fact that Nigeria has signed up to the Open Government Partnership. Open Government Partnership is a partnership that fosters co-creation between government and citizens. What that means is that government may not have all the answers, but you need input from citizens to be able to function properly in whatever you are doing. And I used to say that one way to infuse capacity into governance is to collaborate with civil society, and that for me is critical. So the citizens have a role to play, the media have a role to play, a huge role to play in that sense, for every of these things to go the way we want it. So don't be afraid that foreigners are coming to take it over. Okay. It is for us to have our capacities built, to know issues around exploration, issues about exploitation, issues that concerns the knowledge of the different value chains that exist in the mineral sector. It's only then that you can know where to focus. For instance, there are a lot of sectors in society, but for you have decided to focus on journalism. So this, for me, is a clear example of that value chain. This is one particular value chain that you have seen that if I focus in this area, I will get my mainstay. So the same thing applies to the mineral sector. There are different areas. There are those in exploration, there are those in exploitation, there are those in marketing. So it is for citizens now to develop their capacity to focus in each of these areas and create the needed value that can catalyze growth and development in Nigeria. That's a big one. Let's hope it comes to.
I'm very optimistic that it's going to come to stay, because I'm optimistic too that the federal government will give you the needed support, because they have gone ahead to develop that mining roadmap. Sure. And civil society are also playing their role. The media is playing their role. What you are doing now is part of that education that we need, to get these people, these artisanal miners, because there are so many of them across the country. You need to get them to formalize. And what that is just saying is, if you have, like we have so many artisanal miners, yes, be able to identify them and separate them into cooperatives and give them the needed capacity building. Let them register with the ministry. They get license, and then they begin to do their things legitimately and also contribute to the national coffers. There is another sense in all of this discourse, the gender dimension of it. Women are complaining that they have been left behind. There is need to carry every person along, because the Sustainable Development Goals mantra says nobody should be left behind. So if you are doing things in the extractive sectors and women are not participating, it shows that we are not doing it properly. Because what it means is that some persons may be aggrieved because you are denying them the opportunities which now extends to the issue of rights. So if you tell me I'm a Nigerian but I cannot participate in the extractive sector, it means you are indirectly denying me of my fundamental human right. So that area needs to be addressed so that we have more women participate, not just by way of making them to carry some of these processed things, but we should build their capacity in a way that they can engage the sector productively. And that, for me, will be a major game changer for Nigeria.
All right, so now thank you for that. Now, on the final note, now we've seen developed countries, like the popular one we know, Dubai. They were once underdeveloped. Now, for we in Nigeria, when do you think we ourselves now we definitely get to that place where people can say, okay, oh yes, I'm going down to Nigeria?
Well, I think we will get there.
Hopefully.
It requires a lot of prayer.
Of course.
But prayer is not enough.
Okay.
Because the Bible told me that faith, if you have faith, faith without works is dead. But because faith is made perfect in works.
Sure.
So there is need for everybody to be up and doing. The government alone cannot do it. That is why everybody needs to join hands with government. For instance, the issue of sensitization and conscientization of citizens rests squarely with the media and the civil society. A lot of researches have been done. Is it possible for us to look at all the findings in those research and then begin to use them to do things differently? A good example, if you go to different communities where mining takes place, there's an agreement that is usually signed with mining companies. They call it Community Development Agreement, CDA. Okay. The CDA is supposed to be development oriented, but to what extent is it development oriented? It will be development oriented and bring development, usher development to the community if everybody participates in it. But the current regime of CDA development is that only the men participate in it, in alienation of women. Meanwhile, when extractive companies goes to a particular community or a particular state, the land that is taken is the land that that is owned by these women, because there is a relationship that women has with the land. So if you take their land from them, you have taken their mainstay from them, you have taken their livelihood, you have taken their independence. So all of this need to be addressed for us to have a balanced society. And once we have that balance and everybody is participating and playing their roles, we are sure of getting there.
Yeah, amen. Amen. Definitely good to get there. So thank you for the time. Due to our time constraints, I won't be able to take more. Thank you for the time spent with us, sir.
Thank you.